on this computer. Hi everyone, my name's Jay Diaz, and I've got the privilege of talking to Brian today, who's a pharmacist, and he's come on to the Zanzino program. So we're going to have a little chat about, because he's had his test done today, and today he's had his report come through recently, and it was a bit of a shock and surprise, even though the figures look good. And so because of Brian's background, I'm going to get Brian to explain exactly his interpretation of the results. Okay, so over to you, my friend Brian. If you can just let us know what you do and everything else, and how you came about to joining Zanzino.
Hi guys, my name is Brian Hoppie. I've got 3 accolades to my name. Firstly, I'm a synthetic medicinal chemist. Secondly, a practicing community pharmacist. And thirdly, I like to consider myself as a health restoration and health optimization facilitator.
I love that.
The last one being the most important of the 3. And one of the reasons why that is so is because, I've been a pharmacist for quite a number of years. And I've come to the realization that in the medical world today, all we do is suppress the symptoms of disease and not address the root foundational cause of people's ailments. And hence, people remain with their disease condition for the rest of their lives. And I think that is a very unfair approach to the end user of healthcare, or sick care, as I put it. Before we delve into the conversation today, Jay, I would just like to. I have a quote that I've made several years ago, and I would just like to share it with you.
Absolutely.
And it goes something like this: the human body, with its innate God-given ability, is truly remarkable in that feat when it is optimally nourished. In other words, an optimally nourished body is capable of preventing things from going wrong and correcting things that have gone wrong. I would also like to take this opportunity to share with you a very simple reductionist equation of what I consider disease to be. And the equation is cellular damage plus cellular dysfunction equals disease. Okay. And with an equation like that, if we were able to repair the cellular damage, we will restore the function and we will get rid of the disease. And I think that paradigm is something that is worthy of acceptance in today's world of widespread chronic diseases. I must add that as a consequence of cellular damage, the inflammatory response is activated. Okay, and that inflammatory response can be acute and short-lived, provided that the inflammatory episode is resolved within a short period of time. However, if the pro-inflammatory insult is constant, it means that we end up with acute episodes of acute inflammation overlapping with each other, and hence we get the apparent phenomenon of chronic inflammation. That's what I would like to start with, and then we can have our interview now.
Sounds great. Obviously, chronic inflammation is the biggest thing that is out there, but it's also a lot of people not aware of it. As a pharmacist, I'm sure you have a lot of patients that you would want them to perhaps get that checked. But,
of course, that's a very good point, because I think I believe the entire human population today is in some degree of inflammation. Yeah. Inflammation is a scale. You can get low-grade inflammation to overt disease level inflammation. Yeah. And everyone is in a state of information, and it is a good idea for them to check to see what the state of information is within their bodies. And that can be done using the CRP test, the C-reactive protein test. I mean, it's not a test that's routinely done in the National Health Service, but I think it makes quite a lot of sense for people to establish how inflamed they are, because inflammation, it reflects the degree of cellular damage that exists within the body. It may not be clinically overt, but it could be subclinical. And the thing is, it's the development from the subclinical phase straight towards the clinical phase, and then it becomes an overt disease, clinical disease. And I mean, if we can catch it earlier and take corrective measures to prevent the progression, we would prevent people from, or we can help people to be disease-free as far as chronic diseases are concerned.
Right. So, as a pharmacist, prior to you coming to Zanzino, what other ways would there be that somebody else can have the inflammation checked other than going through to the GP? Are you aware of any other systems or tests available?
I mean, there are companies that provide a test that that you can use to ascertain certain biological parameters or biological markers that would give you an idea as to how inflamed your body is. Okay.
Right.
And one of the things that they can actually check for is your omega-3 index, or your omega-3, your omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, because the omega-3 fatty acids, those are the anti-inflammatory fatty acids. They're also able of resolving inflammation once it has occurred. But the omega-6 fatty acids, those are pro-inflammatory, and they contribute to the inflammatory state of the human body. If you have a preponderance of omega-6 fatty acids in your diet, your body will use those omega-6 fatty acids incorporated into their cells. And because of the very nature of omega-6 fatty acids, they're easily oxidized. And once they're oxidized, the cell becomes damaged and inflammation ensues. So omega-6 and omega-3 markers in the blood can be used to give an idea as to how inflamed the individual is.
Okay. So Brian, tell me, how did you come across Zanzino?
Well, I tell you, I'll say this. I mean, I'm not afraid to say it. I swear no allegiance to any pharmaceutical company or any nutritional company. I'm always on the search for better products. It is by coincidence that I happen to be introduced to a company called Zanzino, and I was quite impressed that they offered what is known as a test-based, I repeat, test-based, not guest-based pharmaconutritional protocol, in that this company will test certain health biomarkers before they encourage you to engage with their health protocols. And after a period of time, in my case, after a period of 120 days, they retest you again, and you can see exactly how there was a shift from where you started to where you got to in 120 days. And that's usually an improvement in very important biomarkers in your blood.
Right.
So, I mean, with that alone, I got excited. I wanted to come on board because I really wanted to know where I stood as far as my omega-3 index and my omega-6 to omega-3 ratio is concerned. And I tell you the reason why, because I follow a naturopath called Dr. Mark Fuller very closely. And I happened to purchase one of his books called Fat for Fuel. And I immediately realized how important it is to have the right omega-3 index and the right balance between omega-6 and omega-3, okay? So I was consuming on average about 3.5 grams of an omega-3 supplement, which provides, no, I consumed an omega-3 supplement that provided me about 3.5 grams total of EPA and DHA, which are two of omega-3 fatty acids. So I was pretty chuffed and, pretty confident that, my test results would come back, excellent. Yeah. So I did my test. I got the results back, and lo and behold, my results were classified as that I'm in balance. I had an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 2.6 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
right, let me bring up the results because then I think the audience can have a look at that if that's okay.
That's fine.
Just give me a second. I knew this would happen. I did set it up and...
Never mind. You have to edit this.
That's all right. Here we
I know
go.
you don't want to, but you're gonna have to.
Okay, that's fine. Here we go. Okay, so this is your result.
Yes.
You can see that, right?
I can't see it yet. It's not on the screen yet.
Okay. When you share this with me, the first thing, I know you said 2.6 to 1. I was really like, wow, that's great. But then when I was looking at the report, this marker here in gray kind of really stood out. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation. Because you're a pharmacist, I needed to understand what this was actually saying. So your omega-6 ratio to omega-3 is 2 omega-6s to 2.6 to 1 omega-3.
Which should have me jumping through the roof.
Yeah.
But on second thoughts, I was terribly disappointed.
Right. Do you want to explain to the audience why?
I would like to, but could you put up the screen for me, please? I can't see the result.
You can't see the result?
I kind of see the results.
Okay, let me just share.
Right.
Does that come through?
Yes, I can see that now. Yes. Okay. As you can see, my result came back that I was balanced, and the ratio was 2.6 to 1. That's omega-6 to omega-3 was 2.6 to 1. I would like to call your attention to that little circle with the exclamation mark in the corner. I mean, and that told me that something wasn't right, that I should not really get excited about this. And the reason why I was in balance, but not at the same time, not healthy, is because my omega-3 index was pretty low. And you can see my omega-3 index, they say it's moderate, it's 4.1 on the screen here. And the actual optimum range for the omega-3 index, as you can see below, it's 9 to 12%. The omega-3 index, you need to go further down.
There we go.
Right, the omega-3 index, as you can see here, is supposed to be between 8 and 12%. And I came in at 4.1. And the only reason why I got a very good balanced result is because I have very, very low concentrations of omega-6 fatty acids. As a matter of fact, it was too low. So even both of those biological parameters were not in the healthy range for me. So even though the numbers look good, I am terribly disappointed. And as a result of that, I am steadfastly consuming a product produced by Senzino called Balance Oil Plus. Balance Oil Plus, it's a combination. I think it's a 60-40% combination of omega-3 fatty acids and 40% of olive oils derived from pre-harvested olives. Pre-harvested olives tend to have a very high concentration of polyphenols. And polyphenols are antioxidants that actually protect and preserve the omega-3 fatty acids from undergoing degradation or decomposition. So as a result of that, the levels of omega-3 fatty acids achieved in the blood is quite high, and it is sustained at that level long enough for the omega-3 fatty acids to be incorporated in the cells of the body. And it is important that you have the right concentration of omega-3 fatty acids in your cells, because it actually improves the function of your cell membranes. I mean, once the structure of your cell membrane is improved, the function is also improved. And we need to realize that our cell membrane is the gateway into and out of our cells. It controls what gets in and what gets out. And if in my situation right now, my cell membranes, it's not fluid, it's more of a rigid nature, and therefore it is not allowing the nutrients in the food and in the supplements that I take to get into my cell. It is also not allowing the byproducts of metabolism, a metabolism which occurs inside the cell, to leave the cell. So I am in a state of what I say, most of my cells are, I call it malnourished and constipated. Yeah, it's undernourished because the nutrients are not getting in. It's constipated because the nutrients are not getting out. And that is not a very good state to be in. So, I mean, it is my hope that, and I'm pretty confident that at the end of 120 days consuming the Balance Out Plus from Denzino, that my balance of omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids in the cells of my body would be optimum. And therefore, I would enjoy a much better results from the way that I nourish my body. I mean, typically, I consider myself an individual that eats very healthily. I go for organic varieties that are hopefully low in pesticides. I even have methods of removing pesticides that are applied to the surface of vegetables.
How do you do that? Sorry to jump in. How do you do that?
I mean, there is a product that I have at home which is made from coconut oil, and it's capable of removing, let's say, for instance, broccoli. When you purchase the broccoli, you try to wash the broccoli. It's like an umbrella. The water does not wet the broccoli. And the simple reason for that is that when the pesticide is applied to the broccoli, it's applied in a solution that forms a water insoluble barrier on the surface of the crop. Therefore, when the rain falls, it doesn't wash away the pesticide, and therefore the broccoli survives being damaged by pests and insects. Okay. So if you are unable to remove that water insoluble layer, it means that when you cook your broccoli, whether if you eat it raw or parboiled, you are consuming insecticides, which are poisonous to the human body. So you really need to find a way to do that. And this product, within a matter of minutes, will dissolve that layer, and then you can wash away the water-soluble pesticides.
I know this is plugging another product, but I think the audience would like to know what that product is.
Right, the product is called LDC, which is a liquid detergent concentrate. It stands for that, and it's a product by a company called Neolife.
Okay. Right.
Like I said before, I have no allegiance to any particular company. If a company has a product that is useful for me, I will get it. Okay.
I was intrigued because I mean it's a product I think a lot of viewers would want to trying
I mean,
to.
and I would advise anyone to, to treat their vegetables, the fruit that they buy, even the green leafy vegetables by, soaking them in this solution for a while and then rinsing them off.
Sure.
Okay.
All right. But so apart from the vegetables and things, I mean, you have a pretty high fish
I have
diet.
a very high healthy fat diet.
Hmm.
Okay. And carbs is pretty low or minimal.
Right.
I also practice intermittent fasting.
Hmm.
I do about 16 to 18 hours per day. And intermittent fasting is a powerful metabolic intervention. And what it simply does, it actually it upregulates and rejuvenates your repair mechanisms. So it primes your body, it puts your body in a state whereby it is primed for the healing of any cellular damage that exists within your body. Okay. But I don't care how much you fast, unless when you refeed or when you break your fast, you introduce high quality optimum nutrition into your diet. Fasting is not of any importance to you because the
Right.
body uses the nutrients in the food that you eat to carry out the necessary repairs. I mean, when the body needs to repair itself, it's not a sign that it's suffering from paracetamol or ibuprofen deficiency or whatever pharmaceutical deficiency you want to call it. Yeah, it is lacking in proper nutrition because it's the nutrients in the food that we eat that the body uses to heal itself of any problems. Okay. However, I would like to add that the foods today are not as nutritious as they were many years ago. And I give you an example. For you to get the same nutrient value, yeah, of an apple that you would have eaten in the 1950s, you would have to eat about 23 apples today. And you cannot physically eat that. Therefore, that makes the case for other nutritional supplements. Okay. And I would like to now turn my attention to a nutritional supplement that is produced by Zenzino.
Sure. Let me just try and which one are you going to talk
I
about?
would like to talk about the Extend.
Right, just give me a second. Brian, tell me if you're seeing the screen.
I'm not seeing the Extend product.
Okay, that's fine. We're share. This is when okay, that's not the one we want. Fun and games. Right, okay. Here we go. Extend. This is you're seeing the extend now, right?
Yes, I can see it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. What did you want to see? The ingredients or
Yeah, I can I have a look at the ingredients. Yeah, or let me just let me see the first bits, and then we can scroll down.
okay. That's the front page, and then you've got the
Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay, then. I mean, being a pharmacist, I mean, I have a fairly good idea of or a fairly good idea how to evaluate if a nutrition supplement, and I can say that Extend Plus by Zenzino actually provides all of the vitamins and minerals and trace minerals that is needed by the human body on a daily basis. It also provides a class of products called the beta glucans, which are pretty important in optimizing your immune function. And there is a polyphenol blend. I mean, from curcumin to the end of the table, that is a polyphenol blend that provides the body with an antioxidant protection rather, because I mean, the human body, I mean, even during metabolism, it produces quite a lot of free radicals. I mean, the saying goes that the human cell takes about 10,000 free radical hits per day. Therefore, it's important that the human cell has an antioxidant reserve that to neutralize and protect it from oxidative damage. This is a product that I'm taking right now because with the improvement and the improvement in the fluidity of my cell membranes, I'm hoping that the nutrients in this formula would be able to get into my cells and provide the necessary nutritional basis for healing and improving my general health. In addition to vitamins, minerals, trace minerals, and polyphenols, antioxidants, it is also important to address your gut health, because I mean everyone that's alive today have some degree of leaky gut, because there's so many different toxins that comes in from the environment into our bodies. You know, our food has a high toxic payload, the air that we breathe, the water that we drink. You know, we live in a very toxic environment, and toxins move from the environment into our bodies, and those toxins can reap havoc in our gut health, and cause our guts to become leaky. Xenobiotic, or the Xenobiotic Plus, produced by Zenzino, is a blend of fibers that specifically feeds and nourishes the friendly bacteria that exist in your gut. And as a result of feeding your friendly bacteria, they grow and they crowd out the pathogenic bacteria that exist in your gut. And as a result of crowding out the pathogenic bacteria, you get they produce certain chemicals, which are called postbiotics as a result of eating the prebiotics, and those chemicals are able to help to repair your leaky gut. And for a lot of people, when their leaky gut is repaired, a lot of the food sensitivities and food allergies that they originally experienced tend to subside. I would even go as far as saying lots of autoimmune diseases tend to respond very well when you seal your gut up. So the xenobiotic it's an important part of the health protocol from Zenzino that would help to improve your gut health and improve your general health as well.
Can we just touch on the balance oil?
Yes,
Because
okay.
that's obviously the
That's a
number
flagship
one.
product. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Your opinion of your what's the word I'm looking for? Your translation of what a product does.
Right. I mean, first of all, the balance oil is fish oil, a fish oil that doesn't taste or smell fishy. And I mean, in my experience, I mean, I come from a country called Guyana, which is next to Brazil and Venezuela and South America. And in my younger days, I did a lot of fishing, and it always intrigued me to know that, you know, when I first catch a fish, yeah, it doesn't actually smell fishy. It's only after a while, you know, it stays there on land, it gradually acquires a more and more fishy taste. And it's only recently that I became aware of why that is.
Mm.
And the reason why that happens is because the omega-3 fatty acids in the fish starts to decompose. And the more of it that decomposes, the more intense the fishy smell is. Therefore, I mean, just as a word of caution for a lot of users of omega-3 supplements, I would advise you to do the sniff test. And if you are using a product or an omega-3 supplement that smells fishy or even tastes fishy, that supplement is not of a high quality, and you will not derive the benefit of what omega-3 fatty acids should do for you. As a matter of fact, for you to derive the full benefit of omega-3 fatty acids, that product should be able to correct your omega-6 to omega-3 balance. Take it back down to a ratio of 3 to 1 or less, based on the right parameters, not parameters that I had. Based on the parameters that your omega-3 index is between 8 and 9.
Right.
Okay. I would like to also emphasize the fact that it's not only about increasing your consumption of a high quality omega-3 product, but you also need to make a conscious effort to decrease the amount of omega-6 fatty acids in your diet. And one of the best ways that you can do that is to reduce the consumption of processed foods. Because if you look at the label of any processed food, you will see vegetable oils. The vegetable oils are the main sources of omega-6 fatty acid that damages your body. I mean, you can get omega-6 fatty acids from natural sources, from seeds and nuts, and that's fine. But the industrialized seed oils that you find in supermarkets, they have been modified after extraction from seeds, and those oils are damaged during that modification process, and they are very unhealthy for you. But everything has vegetable oils. And it's a sad fact that, about 60 to 70% of the food that people in the Western world eat, they're processed foods. And I think that is what is responsible for this imbalance in the omega-6 and the omega-3 ratio. I just would like to put some figures right now. In America, the average American is said to have an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of 25 to 1. In the United Kingdom, it's 20 to 1. In Europe, it's 15 to 1. And in India, it can go as high as 60 to 1. So let us use the UK ratio. As an example, the average UK citizen has a ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 of 20 to 1. And that means, based on this one particular parameter or biological marker, the average UK individual is about 600% less healthy than they could be. My question to you, are you above or are you below average? And that is something that, every individual should really ask themselves. And they need to come to the realization that the only way that they can find out whether they are above or below average is to have a test done. And you can use a very simple blood test that is analyzed by an independent laboratory, a laboratory that is approved by the World Health Organization and other prestigious academic institutions around the world to do testing. So, I mean, the test results or the testing on the test results has nothing to do with the company that provides you with the test. It's done by a third party. It's done anonymously. And it will tell you exactly where you stand. And if you need to take corrective action, I would highly recommend that you embrace the health protocol that Zinzino offers. So on screen right now is the balance test.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's very simple and easy to do. You just you do a finger prick, and I think you need six drops of blood.
Mm-hmm.
You allow the blood sample to dry before you put it in the biohazard envelope.
Yeah.
and you return it to Vitus Laboratory. Is that is it in Norway or Sweden?
It's Oslo, yeah.
In Oslo, yeah.
Yeah.
You return it to the laboratory, and within 20 days, you would get your results.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in need of, interpretation of your results, I mean, we can offer that service for you free of charge. Or it might be a good idea for you to take it to your GP to let your GP see exactly where you are and find out from your GP what he intends to do about it. Because this is a very important biomarker of health or of disease, I can say. Because if it's really out of whack, well, then you're heading towards chronic disease. So I think it might be a very good idea to get your GP on board once you've got your test and really find out what they intend to do about it.
You mentioned the health protocol. So just for the viewers, the health protocol is...
Right, the health protocol is composed of the balanced oil, the X10, which is a source of vitamin, minerals, trace minerals, polyphenols, antioxidant polyphenols, and immune optimizing nutrients. Also the xenobiotic,
yeah,
which is the blend of fibers that feeds the friendly bacteria in your gut and help them to grow and to grow and to suppress the growth of the pathogenic bacteria. And once you get that balance right between the friendly and the pathogenic bacteria in your gut, it improves your gut health to a great deal. And gut health, my friends, is one of the most important things that you should strive to achieve. Because, I mean, in terms of numbers, I mean, the human body has science has it between 70 to 100 billion cells. And you would be surprised to know that the bacteria in your gut outnumber that 10 times. So these guys are important. These guys are important to you, yes.
Wow.
And therefore, we live in a symbiotic relationship with the bacteria in your gut, whereby we depend on them and they depend on us. So if we look after them well, they look after us well. And the way to do that is to reduce your consumption of processed food, reduce your consumption of refined carbohydrates, embrace things like intermittent fasting, consume healthy fats, high quality proteins, eat lots of green leafy vegetables, and your friends will take care of you.
Absolutely. I know when we spoke about my diet, and one of the things as a diabetic, you said to me that I should do fasting. That was alien to me because I'm just going to stop sharing the screen, sorry, because I think we've covered those products there. So fasting for me was alien because something that my doctors never spoke about. They kind of encouraged me to have 3 to 4 meals a day in small portions. And in fact, most nutritionalists will say that, keep eating constantly, but in small bits. But since I've embraced the low carb diet, no sugar, and the fasting, I've noticed a lot of changes in me. And I've also noticed that I'm starting to take less insulin as a result, which is a total revelation. So thank you for that.
No, I tell you what, I mean, you're welcome for that. If once you continue with the fasting regime, I mean, you will find that your requirement for your insulin decreases over a period of time because your insulin sensitivity increases. Because and especially now that you're taking the Zenzino health protocol, it means that the quality of your cells, the cells that are responsible for the removal of glucose from your blood under the instruction of insulin, those cells would have been repaired Yeah. Okay. And like I told you before, the cell membrane, once it's repaired, its function is improved. And one of the functions of the cell membrane is to let glucose into the cell. So once you have done that repair, if you remember the little the paradigm or the equation that I have here, cellular damage equal to cell plus cellular dysfunction equal to disease. So the health protocol that you're doing, in addition to the fasting, which has upregulated your repair mechanisms, that now is repairing the damage to those cells and restoring their function. And you're gradually putting your diabetes, shifting your diabetes back in the direction towards what I consider normal health. Yeah. I mean, it is going to take a while, you know, depending upon how steadfastly adherent you are to the protocol. But you can get there. I can assure you that. Yeah.
Well, xenobiotic is definitely part of my daily routine. In fact, where I used to have Weetabix or something like that, or, I've now gone to having yogurt and 2 scoops of xenobiotic and prunes to go in that basically. And so I'm pretty regular. I can tell you that.
Okay, that's good.
And that's kind of helped. And fasting definitely has made a lot of difference. And in fact, something that I never used to do was drink coffee. I'll have occasional cup of coffee once a month. But now I'm finding, because I'm fasting, I'm probably having 3 to 4 cups of black coffee, no sugar, and your favorite tip, slice of butter.
I told you that. I mean, because if even when you're doing intermittent fasting, if you find it a challenge to complete the 16 or 18 hours, just blend some butter, a high quality butter, grass-fed butter into your coffee, and you drink it. It knocks the edge off the hunger pangs, and you would be comfortably able to complete the fast.
Yeah.
So it does help, but after a while, you probably won't even need that.
I'm enjoying it. It's become part of my
welcome aboard. But I mean, from time to time, we will have to review, you know, your the diet that you're using, because you know things could always be taken, you know, to the next level.
I've in fact, a lot of the carbs I used to have, I'd have a jack of potato with tuna or something like that. That's now all jack of potatoes, rice, all that's now out of the window or very limited. You know, if I've got curry or something, I'll have a couple of rotis and that's it.
I mean, occasionally, but I mean, you know,
it's not a habit now.
Introducing some carbs occasionally is not a big deal, but if that becomes, you know, regular, well, then we have a problem, or rather, you have a problem.
Yeah, big time. And in fact, what I do notice when I do have anything like that, the sugar levels are slightly high, and so it's my choice.
Exactly, it is your choice. Yeah.
I love the way when you tell me yesterday, listen, it's your choice, it's your body. How long do you want to live? So that was pretty good. Brian, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much.
I appreciate being here.
And I think one of the things that, if you're okay, we can perhaps touch on certain subjects as we do in our prior conversations. Maybe do videos once a month or something where we can have a conversation like that.
That is cool.
Yeah. And then if you viewers, if you've seen anything, drop us an email or a message, and if there's anything specific that you want to talk to Dr. Brian to talk about, we can always get that sorted. So fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me.
Brilliant. Speak to you soon.
Care. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay.